So I guess it went down to like 49 this morning. So we got a little fire going. Well, I had CNN on. Um, Out and stuff, they seem like weirdly overjoyed about, I guess, your young people don't believe in the American dream anymore. You just go, okay. Like it's forced, yeah. Let's make up what we're actually enjoy about, and then like it's all like pressed and sinister, like, yeah. Well, they got to tear down the tree before they die. Yeah, so they got to destroy it all in their own heads. Like, just this the thing about the, yeah, just they're gonna pave over trails now so you can roll wheelchairs and then cars and then their roads. Yeah, whatever. Well, they've been primed and taught. A bunch of them just they were primed and taught to hate America by insane people that want to take over your country. And then other ones that just obviously in a despair, just and that's what their parents want for them. Right, while the retirees are running around having their retirement. Just know this: everybody that's quote unquote homeless had parents. We had to listen to it all too. Yeah, it's because as the brain is dying, it becomes really difficult to listen to. It makes it easier for them to die off to believe that everything would suck here anyways. Then you have this other story again where a father is murdered his wife and his kid and himself in a big huge mansion, and then the commenters are all happy about it. uh, Cut to the dude was probably like a oncologist, and you just go, okay. I don't think it's just a big house. I think it's an intact family and a big house. Yep. Well, clearly that dude didn't think like these other people where they want to destroy everything and then their children have nothing. So that is going to happen. Apparently, some of the people were saying it happens all the time where they are. One of them said they were in Georgia and it's constant. And then, of course, there's going to be people that are happy about that because they live their lives in a constant envy and a constant hatred. So, so this is the last day and the last night, and then we got to go back to the city at least for a few days, see what's up. Because as we've stated a bunch of times, even if we were going to keep camping, we wouldn't stay at this particular campground. It's just not really our thing. So, and then, so of course, I noticed now you have people taking up space at Harold Parker so that people can't live there for the rest of the season. There's no way you're going to tell me it's not that. You just go and look and you go, yep, Saturday. Someone just booked just Saturday. No one does that but a deranged person. Or just Friday and Saturday, just to break up the weeks. Because if you You can move to another campsite. You got to pay $5 every time you do it. So they don't really want to get rid of the tents in the city. They want to murder us. Okay, so as you're doing that stuff, just hopefully you know that already, that you're murderously insane. That's why God has you in the great delusion. So you would have to get to the point where you just don't believe in the Bible and you don't believe in God, or God is some other evil entity that believes with the shit you're doing or thinks you're funny. That's what it came to with Barbara Kent. You could tell that she thought that God thought everything she did was funny. No matter how sick and cool you are, God thinks you're funny. I think any person who believes in the Holy Bible and believes in God, in terms of your young people, I think their only despair is how disgusting you people are, honestly. And you just go, we have to like suffer through this apparently and watch these people degrade into just horrifying monsters. And then a lot of us are going to pass on. And then all of these people and stuff will be forgotten. And you just be like, yeah, there used to be a species here, and it just was like terrible at the end. Like, just who wants to go out like that? Just no honor. You don't care about anything anymore. Everything you ever did in your lives and said was nothing but nonsense. Like, why'd you even have children and grandchildren? Work and buy a house and retirement. Right, your species is a contradiction in terms because you're you're Mort's insane. Oh yeah, and then they started saying some crap about they don't have any friends, so they're all gonna pretend they have friends and stuff. It's all like an acting when you watch them and listen to them. That's gonna be important now to have friends. Nothing about Daniel and his friends, not the allies. It's yeah, you just they can't hear anything that's actual knowledge and stuff about what's going on with them. Everything becomes like sinister towards somebody else. Just like refusing to house people because you won't hear. It's just clearly God is extincting you and transitioning you into another form of life, and you have to turn it into that. That's your psyche and your remaining brain matter. It's very sad. We're all a community and this and that, and God is doing it because you people are bad and mean. Okay. How does it feel to be bad and mean? I'm not bad and mean, so I have no idea. Someone said something once online to me. They're like, it, how would you feel if every day in your life somebody calls you a monkey? I don't have that experience. No one's ever calling me that. I don't care how you feel. I'm not here to experience your feelings, as weird as that seems to you. You're an expiring species. I don't even have to know anything about you. You're not a squirrel. You're not a mosquito. You're not a chipmunk. You're not a wolf. I don't have to coexist with you, so I don't care about your feelings. So you're saying that good people don't care? Whatever. Right down to they're going to have a story about someone with schizophrenia on CNN, so you know that they're in another one of their things. Oh, okay, babe. Right, you know right off the bat they're in another one of their things when they just start doing like weird targeted bullshit. Not they're actually like they're not as like happy-go-lucky as they're trying to project to you, which I don't care what your feelings are. I would have preferred if you people actually were happy-go-lucky because you wouldn't be treating other people the way you are. It's not possible for you to ever be happy-go-lucky. It's just not possible. Yeah, you go. I wonder if they're all going to stop buying trailers in other states and stuff just so that homeless people who either saved money on DTA by living in the shelters or they got Social Security are then trying to find a place to live. That's all we're trying to do. It's like the most wildly insane thing to live through and witness. That's all we're trying to do. And it's clear that all you're trying to do is murder us. So, yeah, it's a little bit stressful and weird and scary when you know that a population of people just won't stop trying to murder you. So, probably still in bargaining. Yeah, once you get to acceptance, you wouldn't be still focusing on those who aren't going to die off and people that are younger than you and stuff that you perceive have more time. So the acceptance is still not there. It's still just running around in this like terrible juvenile behavior. Maybe you might have a bunch of miscarriages and stillborns with this saying we're going to get housing and then saying we're not going to get it. Maybe we're phasing into that. If you when you're exposed to enough ionizing radiation, it destroys your ovum. Your ovum is your sperm and your eggs. So first you'd have a lot of malformations and genetic problems, and then you would just go infertile. Remember when I was curious about, you get horrified when you look at the statistics about the just massive uptick in birthing around the planet. And I still feel that that could be a sign in the future, like for who's left here, a sign of an impending extinction in a species when they start doing that rapid reproduction stuff. So scientifically, I guess that would make sense. It's like a biological reaction to an extinction impending, that you would just keep producing more and more children, and then eventually that none of them can survive, and you become infertile and sterile. Also, if you don't know this, we went over this about THC, the marijuana, that it actually causes deformed sperm. It affects the ATP on a sperm head, so they can't swim. So that does actually make men infertile when they smoke a lot of marijuana. Usually they blame the women for everything, like when they blamed women for the sex of the child, when the sperm determines the sex of the child. So you could have some um, defects that are actually coming from the sperm. So if you produce children with someone who smoked a lot of marijuana or took the gummies, anything with THC in it, it could actually be because of that. All you gotta do is look it up until they try to hide it, but usually you can still find things like what the symptoms are being exposed to radiation. When they started trying to cover it up, it's part of a denial. There's not a reason to cover it up. Like, yeah, you clearly don't want the people to wake up and realize what's going on and stop their behavior. Like, you're in a denial too, like taking mental reasoning off. Thinking cell phones were giving people brain cancer and stuff when it's an extinction. Sure, since you guys like to constantly debate shit that has no meaning and a madness, you could go, okay, so you want your children in despair, so why are you shutting people off of the internet saying you're protecting your children from truths? Remember when they used to talk about some religious group using children as human shields? Now you know what that means. When you keep people hostage and then think that's going to save you. I don't know if you thought they weren't going to bomb you by holding people hostage in your area, because there has to be some reason that you hate us, but you tie us to an area with the DTA cash and the SNAP food. Okay, so it's got to be that. And then I don't know if you've gotten so far gone that you think if you keep a person hostage, it protects your house. It has to do with DNA. It has to do with the species. It's almighty. God is extincting a species and the other species is not. So they have the DNA structure that isn't going to be destroyed after all this nuclear material is poured all over the earth. Well, one thing this morning I didn't actually realize is they were saying on 2/11 is when the great delusion began that God sends you. Right before the nuclear accident, the great earthquake, and the tsunami. So that explains like the behavior that to me is completely insane. I don't know what, and apparently during this COVID things, I don't know what that was. Like you would have to tell me if you even remember 2020, what the thoughts were in your head about what was going on. Most of the population, God controlled back from doing all that shopping, by the way. It's byproducts of fat metabolism, not byproducts. But that's what primates do in a crisis. Like a rainstorm is coming, the dominant is about to die. They constantly food gather and then hide under a tree. What, babe?
The boss in my game just did a new attack I've never seen before.
Uh oh. They
They
came
just
up with something.
updated the game though.
Oh.
Maybe they should warn you.
Well, they're probably making it more challenging for you.
It's already challenging enough.
So I first woke up about 4 because I had to urinate. So it brings back the stress of what the hell I'm going to do when I'm sleeping outside. So I'll worry about it Friday morning. So it will probably be made worse because it's cold. Right. I'll enjoy the toilet for another 24 hours. And then it takes me a while to fall back to sleep because I'm so stressed out. I have so many like thoughts in my head and rages and stuff. So I did manage to go back to sleep till about 7 because I was like, this is the last day that I can sleep in at all. So I don't know. I might take a nap in the afternoon because that doesn't happen when you're street homeless either. Well, usually when like certain people I come into contact with are having starting to get a little bit stressed out about reality. It's probably indicative of a population of people where some people are beginning to get more sort of afraid and panicked and frenzied because they're realizing that this shouldn't make sense about homeless people and what are we going to do and stuff like that. And sometimes it becomes kind of annoying to me um, because it comes out as like a projection onto us. What are you going to do? And isn't it going to, like, at first you think that they're being sadistic, but I think they're actually in a panic. So God will have to make up something for them to believe is going on so that they can calm down. It's almost like a knowing that they probably should have done something, especially in the beginning years. Um, and then some of them will find out it doesn't even matter what they do because the people that are controlling the money and the housing are batshit insane. Okay. And then I'm sure they must wonder about that COVID money they got and all the years since 2008 and 2011 that they've had money. And there's only 700,000 homeless people. It's either nationwide or in Massachusetts. Okay. So You're not in a lesson. No, it's not like a lesson, and then you're gonna go, "Oh, this was terrible. Like we're robots and we're not real people. Like we're part of a lesson." That's all part of a disassociation because of living through a horrific time period in human history, in Neanderthal history. Hi, babe. Well, it's sort of like Amityville Horror. It's sort of like the man that murdered his wife and his children. Okay, that's what they're doing as a group. Yeah, like they themselves can't figure out like what this is, and then they just keep projecting their fear and their panic and their insanity onto us. Yeah, just like I don't even know if it's a realization because they just nonstop with the hatred and stuff and the excuses, but it's like a realization that they're insane, like they're paralyzed with mental insanity. Okay, like say that they were on drugs and every single day they said they were going to stop using drugs and then they can't stop doing it and like their brain makes them change their mind about what they're doing and stuff. That's what they're doing with the homeless. It's back and forth and all over the place, just fully in Confucius. Yep. They reinforce themselves like a cult to keep making themselves think that they're sane and okay because they're all doing a similar behavior like they're at the fig tree. Okay, so this is sane because we're all at the fig tree and we hate homeless people. And so we've got to get rid of their tents. We got to fill up our campsites so they can't camp there. We got to make sure they can't rent. Um, they can't even rent anything because they don't have a primary residence. That was so funny. Last night I was watching this thing. I think I told you, babe. I was watching this thing about this woman that dismembered her husband's boyfriend. And then during the Miranda rights and stuff, she goes, What is your primary residence?" And then she says it right. So I go, "She can rent a cabin on Blue Hills Reservation. It wouldn't matter if she dismembered somebody or not. She has a primary residence." It's like the hotels. I told you in 2019, I had cash money, I had a photo ID, and I couldn't rent a hotel room because I didn't have a credit card. Then it became face masks because apparently once people got like an income and we were like sort of forced to get bank accounts and stuff, then they came up with other stuff. And they'll keep doing that because they're absolutely murderously insane. Yeah, you just go, okay, but like, why are you doing that? And then they'd probably scream at you, "What do you mean? Why am I doing that?" And then they just wouldn't answer your question. That's what people with dementia do. They say, "I never said that." They start yelling at you, "I never said that. Um, what do you mean? Why am I doing this?" And then just a complete sort of avoidance to even talk to you. Why did you tell these people they had an apartment and have them hook up electricity, forward mail? and apply for raft and then wait weeks and then tell them they're not getting it. Why did you do it? Right. No, you knew they didn't have a voucher. Why did you do it? You're mentally insane. Why did you say that people can't rent a cabin in Blue Hills Reservation if they don't have a primary residence? Why did you say that? Why did you say that you have to have an address to apply for Social Security? Why'd you say that? Yeah, it just doesn't matter how many times Almighty God tells you people to give us housing, you're not going to do it. You're in complete defiance of Almighty God. Obviously, that's why you're so insane. It's coming out as like a wrath hatred because God's all loving voice is just going, I would like you to put these people in housing. Okay, that's all that's going on actually in your head because God doesn't talk in a mean thing like that. Okay, but because you're so defiant and so insane, you go in these rages about it. That's why you have so much hatred for us because you have dementia. Every single one of you. I'm pretty familiar with the condition. I was in a house with more than one person, but the main person that displayed those characteristics for about what 12 years. Her stuff was about other stuff, right? I'm sure that she wouldn't agree with you making people homeless and keeping them homeless. Her thing was other things. So, and just screaming, I want you out of this house and stuff. Just some of the stuff she was doing. Like the chick at Stock Market. That is not my problem. The same chick who at the customer service went chinga chinga ching about turkeys on sale or whatnot, and I ended up with the turkey for like $4. Now she's screaming at me in the bathroom that I can't be in there, but because she has dementia. It's all ages, planet wide. It's an extinction. So again, I pointed out to you this morning about March of 2011. Every time you start going, what are you talking about? How do I have dementia? That's part of dementia. That's part of dementia, constantly asking why over and over again. And how am I insane? Blah, blah, blah. How would I be insane? Because you had a major nuclear event, it caused a stroke in your head, and your brain dies around it. It's called the ischemic stroke. Look it up. Someone recently just told me that they told him he was having mini strokes. It's from the nuclear material. It's from the nuclear blast and the ionizing radiation.
You talk about John.
Yeah, that's what happened to my mother. Hopefully, he won't turn into Night of the Living Dead because his underlying personality is not hers. It has to do with your psyche. Some people just get brain disease and they believe people when they go, look, I think you know, and other people don't. She's like a complete narcissist. So good luck. She thought she was like an expert on the Bible. She's like a malignant narcissist. So, and because of her paranoid thinking, everybody is out to get her. Like I said, she thought her son was putting stuff in her drinks, and that's why she was forgetting things. when she finally had to admit to herself she was forgetting things, it doesn't start out forgetting things. It starts out personality changes and mental reasoning. Things like, what are you going to do with all these homeless people? That's part of mental reasoning. You don't want them in tents in the city. You don't want them in tents on a campground. You don't give them a piece of land to be in tents on, and you refuse to give them housing. You keep talking about shelters like we're prisoners, okay? And then you're told the overcrowding and the conditions in the shelter, and we can't lay down, and you still keep screaming shelters. They probably do it in a city where there are no shelters. They're that insane. They have to go to a shelter. Because a monkey would say you have to be under a tree. You have to be under a tree. You have to be part of a community. They don't even want us under their tree. Like, you're not getting it. We're not part of their family group. They're all sort of like transgender. And yeah, they're like very, very weird. We're not part of their community. We're not part of their family. Hmm?
They arrested a guy in a Chuck E. Cheese. He was working at Chuck E. Cheese, dressed as Chuck E. Cheese, and they arrested him. But I didn't see why.
Oh. Hmm.
They
That's
said
weird.
why, but I didn't see why.
Oh, I was going to say that's weird. Some guy was working at Chuck E. Cheese and dressed as Chuck E. Cheese, and I guess they arrested him. I'm like burning every piece of wood we have, so if I'm cooking that oatmeal stuff later, I'll have to get some more wood. Ugh. I don't know. We'll decide at lunchtime if we're gonna go oodles or noodles at lunch and the oatmeal shit at dinner, or get the cooking out of the way and then do oodles or noodles for the last meal. Our last supper, oodles or noodles. Not our last supper for the rest of our lives, just at this campground. Last supper, oodles or noodles. Ramen noodles. Brian has to correct me every time that they're called ramen noodles because Brian was born in 1987 and they used to be called oodles or noodles. I'm not doing it on purpose. That is what they were called. Yeah, see, that stuff burns right up. That's what I need, more and more of that stuff. I'm going to put this down for a minute. Once you can get the ambers on that thing, you can keep a fire going if you have enough of the other stuff. Well, don't complain. Imagine those who can't pee. He tells me where it is. Anyways, I had a hatchet. Yeah, there's like a big log up there. I just ripped a piece off of it, but yeah, I just pulled that whole thing over here and just hatchet it. That was the one thing I regret not getting. I think it was a Walmart in Andover. Yeah, I definitely should have got a hatchet. Yeah, in the future, yeah. I could have just stayed on my 4 acres of land, people. Okay, just keep that in mind. Anyways, completely over for you people. That's why I am the person with the microphone. Okay? That's why I am the person with the microphone. So if you start doing that shit, you're not even my species. Yep, just know that for yourselves. Oh, what is this? All this attention. I'm the fucking Virgin Mary 2 5-star Prince of the Nail Eye of Horus, fucking what you're calling a swastika Abram. That's why. Sit the fuck down. Right, you all need fucking mental health and you're all fucking drug addicts and pedophiles. So just sit this fuck down. Anyway, he tells me where it is. That's why you can't fucking survive on my land. He never in a day tells you where the fuck wood is, food, water, nothing. Still don't fucking get it. That's why the second that your ancestors fucked me over, you began a fucking dying process on my land. You've only been here for 350 some years now. Now it's been 365 years, and you're on your fucking way out, obviously. Every time I try to fucking comfort you things, it seems like you get worse. Oh, so it's okay? Apparently it's okay. God doesn't care that you're evil fucks. Just keep your shit the fuck away from me. The only way you ever lasted, what, a year here is because my species helped you. And clearly you must have been kidnapping our fucking children and shit. No, we just helped you. Okay, the feeling is mutual. Just know that. We don't really like you either. And we have a reason why, not we envy you because you're happy and thin, right? You people are just gross. You're gross, you're destructive. Went to commercial break. Yeah, again, if I had a hatchet, babe, there was like a big log over there. I just ripped like a branch off of it. Just drag the whole thing over here and start hatching it. That would work on my arms and I'd feel better. Isn't it so sad how I used to walk every day and now I just sit here and smoke? Isn't that so sad? Fucking killing you every day. Every day, killing you. Not killing me, killing you. So that's what you do. You kill me, and then you try to sit where I was sitting. Not you do anything I was fucking doing. Just it gets annoying some people with the fucking trail walks and the jogging and shit, and you just go, yeah, that's what I was doing. Yeah. And then you get in your car and you drive and you go to work and you get a fucking plastic kayak and you set up a tent and you do that for a day or two. Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what I do. I can tell by your physique, first of all. Yeah, I can tell by your physique and the fact that you drive and use heating oil. Not the first bunch of Neanderthals that thought they kill me and then become me and actually believe that you're doing that when you're not. It's like bizarro.
What was she doing today?
It makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, I know some of them. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, like it's a challenge to wear like just whore clothes to work or goofy like bad dresses or something. Um,
Have no fashion sense.
that's why I figure they might be challenging each other to wear the ugliest clothes on camera. Oh, so what I was about to say is it makes sense that your species does not want to use wood and leaves for anything because there wouldn't be a single tree left already. Okay, so you would want to use like electric heaters and propane and stuff, and that's appropriate for you to be doing. And the charcoal, all that, that's appropriate for you to be doing, yes. It has to do with the population size. Okay, like that's why there's not that many of my species. Yeah, it's just never gonna run out of kindling and wood. It's just night and day. Do, 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 do. And if something ever like that would have happened, because I thought about this morning about the fires not lighting, it just means this isn't a good place to be. Yeah, if you're usually like a expert fire builder and you use one match, which is me, it's because this isn't a good place to be and it's time to move on. And that's how you don't deplete like an area. If all of a sudden, like say it wasn't raining for a while, there was a bunch of bugs, your fires won't start, like, or you just have like that weird like anxiety sense or whatever, that's just God going, it's time to move on. Or there's a big spider somewhere. Yeah, like I explained the thing about thorns. If you're like looking for kindling and you hit thorns, just turn around and go back the way you came. Sometimes spider webs. If you see like big spider webs, there's one up by that rock. I can see the spider web, so I don't go up there. Yeah, usually thorns I've noticed, and you go, okay, yeah, turn around, go back. Yeah, thank God this is the last day. It's actually becoming more frequent than it was. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if people are camping here or not. I just know that this park is open to the public from sunrise to sunset. And some of them, it just they walk around talking to you and stuff, and that's normal because in that species, that's normal. Yeah. Some of them, they don't realize they're being aggressive. Okay, like in a primate kingdom, you have to acknowledge each other. Like they will literally just run after you and tackle to the ground because you don't acknowledge they're there. Just something to do with the way the brain works. So if you're the type of person, I've heard some people give testimony where you want everybody to like you want everybody to be one big happy family on planet Earth, and you never can be alone. That's frightening to you. You get bored easily. You always want to have people around you and stuff. Then you're not my species. That's not how we function. That's viewed as scary and insane to me. Yes. So clearly, people that came here and lived on ranches and farms and just had their family, okay, they're not down with that either. They're not. And I could tell that some people thought it was because we didn't understand you, and just it gets scarier and scarier where you've got to go to our schools, you've got to be bussed into our schools, we got to be forced to integrate with you. That's all primate behavior. People lived on swaths of land, and then they had like the church or the 4-H. You went and you, if you wanted to, exchange vegetables or whatever and socialize. Not you actually walked by their house saying hi to them. Yeah, that's there was a time and a place for socializing. I think that's why people become increasingly more agitated and annoyed with people, whereas typically they wouldn't. I explained myself. I want it, if I'm going to do something, I do it on my terms, where I go to a place that's designated for socialization. Like every single time you hear about a person like Ted Kaczynski, uh, Thoreau, anybody that wants to just live by themselves out in the woods, you think that there's something wrong with them. Okay, if you think that, you're a primate. You're most definitely not a human. You're not a doodlebug at all. There is not a reason why a person can just live a life by themselves, never talking to anybody but themselves and God and other animals. That is what they want. The guy wrote an entire book. You'll go to a library and check it out and read it like he's a fucking genius. But in reality, you think there's something wrong with him. He's an insane person. He cares about nature to the point that you drove him fucking mad and he started setting off bombs supposedly. Now that's what you say, but you'll read Walden Pond and go, oh, what a genius. But yet you don't have dementia and you're not insane. Same fucking dude. Same fucking dude. Same fucking dude. A person is crazy when you're destroying all of nature, and they get to the point where you drive the person mad, if it's even true he was doing that, and then he starts targeting you. He's crazy, not you're fucking crazy. You murder people all the time. You murder other species. You drive other species to extinction. You torture your own fucking families. But then when another species, like a wolf, tears your throat out, you shoot it dead. The wolf is doing you a favor. So anyway, thorns, I would imagine there could be snakes there. There could be spiders that bite. It's not your territory. Even when you're gathering. If you're gathering kindling, that's not your territory if there's thorns there. Why would Almighty God put thorns there if you're supposed to be there? Just like Alaska. Why would Alaska exist if you have to build an airplane to get there? You don't have wings, you're not supposed to go there. Right. Why would you pave over nature trails because you can't walk on them? Oh, hi. What the heck? Where have you been hiding? They're two chipmunks. I haven't seen you guys in a whole 2 weeks. What are you doing? Is there stuff over there? What? I know. He said they probably heard about the graham crackers. All I have is oatmeal. Yeah, maybe the smoke. But yeah, I literally have. They usually tell me where kindling is. Yeah, I'm wandering all over the place. God had to help me because you guys weren't here. They might get annoyed. Nature chipmunks, yeah. Nature chipmunks might go, I don't know why you're doing that. I had ice about a week ago and fruit. Maybe somebody was camping and they were feeding them stuff and they left. That would make sense. It's been about 2 weeks. Maybe it took them that long to get here from Pearl Hill. It's a pretty long walk. Hey, we found you. Uh-oh. Now we're leaving again. Don't follow us to Cambridge. It's not a good place for chipmunks.
Choosing a college is a big step. See what your future could look like at Thomas Jefferson University.
Is there kindling up there? What are you guys doing? I'm pretty sure I've been up there already. Yeah, maybe I haven't been all the way up there. Oh, what's this over there? There might be something over there. I'm gonna go up here, I think, first. I'm not seeing anything, but that doesn't mean there isn't something there. Okay. Oh yeah, there is one right there. Something just fell from the tree. There we go. A day in the life. Let's see. Ah, okay. It's like the iceberg. There we go. Whoop, this one's real dry. I already looked there. They're probably like, we have food. Hello, hear that? Crazy person. I'm not really going to be able to burn those things. You know that, right? Just the way I came up here? No, I think I came up this way. Yeah, this is the way I came up there. He's depressed and stressed out. He told me last night. Yeah. He feels like he has no hope after this shit with the apartment. And now it's going to be winter and another summer, he said. And the only thing he has looked forward to is the cruise. I found some stuff up there, yeah. Then stuff started dropping from like the tree. And one of them, there was like a stick. And then I'm like, you know, I can't burn those things, right? Acorns. They're probably like, we have food. Stop throwing food out. Hi, babe. The thing that's good about egg noodles, if you're a quote unquote homeless person, you don't. All you have to do is put it in something. I put it in this pan, and then you could actually make it with tinfoil too. And you just boil the water in this thing and pour it in there, and then maybe do that again, and it cooks the egg noodles. You really don't have to boil them. Same thing with oodles and noodles. And then I put the conquesto sauce on tinfoil and then put the noodles on top of it and put that on the fire to warm it up. Well, it's like I explained. Um, I get it when someone can't control their body temperature. That's a different thing. But I literally survived in two of those recycle bags, those big plastic bags, and then with when I went out to Dedham is when I got the bubble wrap and I stuck it in between the two bags. Oh, and maybe I stuck it in with me, but I'm thinking I stuck it in between the two bags. And then I didn't even have a sleeping bag, which would have been better. Never mind an all weather sleeping bag, because a sleeping bag zips up so you don't have to worry about all the tucking with blankets. Yeah, and I was at the DTA office, so there was like a really like, it's almost like a carpet, but not because it's outside. So you're not straight on the concrete. And I had pads I put down. I know you go, we clearly could live on the ground, is not going to get cold like concrete, and we could put something under the tent. Right? Some people could probably put those pallets under a tent, those wooden pallets. Yeah, because you have to have a barrier between you and concrete or you will die because the concrete is cold and you get colder and colder and colder as the night goes on. So telling people they can't have tents is murder. Not they're going to freeze in a tent. They're not retarded. They'll freeze outside of a tent. So that's why you go, you are so full of shit. You just need to stop it. You are so full of shit. You're Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The chick they were interviewing in the video last night that just, I fell asleep. I'll have to watch it later. That dismembered her husband's boyfriend. Did she just seem like, what you, she doesn't seem like you any other day talking? I'm sure, ask any cop that has interviewed people that murder and stuff. They just go, yeah, they all are like you. Yep. It's like this. So when you locked this person in a room and wouldn't give them food and water, you didn't know they would die from that. So when you tear down people's tents that are like set up and fortified for the winter, okay, and then you're not, you didn't know that they're going to end up dying out in the freezing cold just laying on the ground now. You didn't know that. You stole their tent, you stole whatever they fortified it with, you stole their bedding. And then as you're doing it, you make it look like everything's junk. And you say that the homeless people did that. You ever see me laying in a pile of junk? Sure, they would go under a bridge because of the rain, but some of these tents are actually waterproof. Right, those people that were sleeping down by Mass Ave, those are probably waterproof tents. You went from one extreme to the other too, and you don't even remember. In 2020, you were giving out tents so that we could live outside and not die. All of us were registered at that shelter. We went through all of this, but yet you still keep saying the same insanity over and over and over again. We did all their programs. We did all their programs. We went to their classes for a year. We went to their classes. We were there every night for a year. That's why they got rid of us, because in their head, that explains why they didn't house us. We have therapists, we have doctors. Many of us are sober. And we did their programs. Like, you don't make any sense. We did all that. We did champ, this, that, like, like out of your mind. Out of your mind. Are you poisoning your own food and water? Then you're insane. You might as well just drink your own piss at this point. So full of nitrates. Would you go to a sink, fill a glass half with water, and then fill the rest of it with your piss and drink it? That's what nitrates are. What a week here. You said we're not going to cycle back here. They all want to turn into that. Okay. And then go on a TV and go, oh, well, the young people don't believe in the American dream anymore. It's not real. Do they have a Holy Bible? Maybe listen to that and not their parents and grandparents that unfortunately have dementia. Why didn't they rise up and kill you people? Well, maybe they'll inherit the earth, because that's the meek shall inherit the earth. So if you look me in the face and go, whatever, and you say you're going to meet us outside and you don't care about this job and stuff, you're not meek. If you use vouchers and foreclosure letters and try to get the police to get us out of our houses and shit, you're not meek. You watch a video, a guy in a desperation, you don't even know what he was doing for work. He could have been an oncologist, and then you wonder why you're going to die. In a desperation, kills his wife, his kid, and himself. And you think that's good. You're not meek. There you go, babe. That's pretty warm, huh? Thanks, chipmunks. They're probably offended I threw oatmeal over there. I was just wondering why acorns started falling from the trees. Like, there's one right there. Boom. See it?
That she was useless. You were doing her job. That's right. Give me her page. I'm doing her job.
No, she can't. You can't even turn around and see who the fuck's doing it.
Yeah, she's bad. But it's a
So I
warm
moved that
body.
seat.
Oh yeah, it's out. Yeah, working with her. Yeah. Who's the only one that I didn't like working with? And then she was like,
That's why Royal Caribbean is giving us a table for two. Did you hear me, babe? That's why. Yeah. I don't even mean to be mean about them. It's just they're not going to want to sit at a table with us. Yeah. Work? I don't work. I'm homeless. Yeah. I'm one of those. I'm one of those Exodus 2010 people. Yeah. The sucker fish. Hmm. It ain't even about your state parks, even. Even if there was a stretch of woods where you went, go ahead, you can live in there. We'd have to be able to have a fire. We'd have, how would we cook anything? Yeah. I mean, some people, I guess, would even still do it and they just live on stuff you don't have to cook. But you go, "Uh, what is it you think we're sucker fishing? Yeah. We can't actually hunt animals. We could, but we can't because you've depleted the stock so much. Okay. We really actually don't need you, even though you think we do. Even though you've poisoned the water, there's things called chlorine tabs and stuff, and people collect rainwater and shit. Like, we actually don't need your system. Yeah, we actually don't. And as you know, your system is killing you all. We're not doing that to you. Like, that's how disgusting it is. I haven't driven since 2011. I don't even like to take rides, but I'm the bad guy. When you're sitting in the oncologist's office, I guess you still make it about money because you have good insurance and you're going to use the lottery to pay off your wife's medical bills when you're supposed to have universal health care, okay? And medical bills can't go on your credit report. They outlawed that in 2025 because they started doing that shit to me because it's all in their mind. They're supposed to stop me from getting housing by any means, attack me till I punch them, keep that going for 6 years so they think it's on a Corey, try to say I don't have health insurance when I do, send medical bills to collections. I don't need credit. I don't need credit. That's all part of your world. Clearly, the most of those people that were trying to live in tents don't drive, right? And they're not using heating oil. But they're the bad guys. They're the scumbags. An insaneville, antichrist. I just remember Tom Kent, suck a dick, a shelter, because Barbara Kent tried to do that to him once too. because that has to be a process because she sent her daughter to a shelter for no fucking reason. So that has to be a process everyone does. Right, just like you locked your kids in rooms and then did a reunification during COVID because you're that insane. I gotta plug my charger in. That time of the day, babe. It's gonna be time to charge the laptop again too soon. All right. Let's see. I have enough drink packets to get through today too. That time of the day. Da 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 da. Do we have the plug for the laptop out already? Might want this. Oh, let me grab this. My water. Ugh. Oh yeah, we got that one more thing on the form we gotta fill out today, babe. Got one more job we gotta do. We do?
For tomorrow.
Oh, I usually just do it in the morning. What, your clothes, you mean? Yeah, I guess he packs up a little early because he spreads his stuff all over the place. Yeah, so that would make sense. I don't. I like we put it back every day. So I guess that would make sense, babe. I suppose I could. I could probably pack up the whole supply tent if I wanted to, and just yeah. But I don't think I need to do that. I get up pretty early. All right, let me see if I've got any battery left in this. Probably not. Let me see. Well, this one has 3. Let me see what's going on with the other one. If this one's still totally charged, I'll plug that one in. Yeah, I'm gonna go in there in 1 second. I'm just checking the charge on this one. Deciding which one I'm plugging into my phone. It looks like the chat's working again. Good morning. I don't know when you guys wrote that. I wasn't looking at it. Sorry. Was the chat not working before? I didn't see any chat, so I don't know if somebody else is disabling it or not. So I'm doing pretty good with my charges. So I'll do this green one while the red one is charging my phone. Plug in the charger. What's this looking like?
50 something. Just under 50.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
it just depends on how long you want to take it to charge again.
Buchanan, Lucy, Buchanan, Lucy.
So that's still going. I'll wait a couple minutes before I plug the laptop in. Because then I'm taking up like every outlet in the bathroom. I don't really want to do that. I think I usually charge the laptop and then plug my charger in. Yeah. So by the time the laptop runs out, that charger will probably be charged all the way because it's only like half empty. So that should still work out fine. Yeah, like even with the not walking and stuff, my belly is still somewhat flat. Yeah, as soon as I go back to the street, it's not going to be like that. It's going to blow right back up again. So, crimes against humanity. It would be great. It would be great if that insane asshole, I don't know if he's just trying to get famous like he's Howard Stern, or he thinks he's doing that when he has dementia and he's murderously insane about going to a shelter. I'm not sitting up in a chair day and night, dude, until I die from a bowel obstruction. Okay? I don't need treatment. I have polycystic kidney disease and polycystic liver disease. Okay? I went 5 years without smoking cigarettes. I have no history of drug use and I don't drink. I have a therapist. Post traumatic stress disorder from being holocausted because you people have dementia and you've become murderously deranged. I had a house, I was a homeowner in Florida for most of the 17 years I was there, but that particular house, at least 3 or 4 years before they illegally foreclosed on it because I paid off the banks. Also, I'm supposed to be sitting in a house collecting alimony with 6 now adults. Like I said, in my opinion, Almighty God is explaining to you that you're mentally ill and you're projecting it onto a group of people that in your primate head is the lowest tier group now in the caste system where you're allowed to spit upon us because we don't rise up and dominate you because we're not fucking animals. Even if we get brain disease, we don't behave like you do because we're not primates. So clearly you did an Exodus 20 in 2011. So you don't know anything about 2010. You shall do no work. Shall means you will do it. It's a taxonomy for a species. So you're another species that hates my species.
Well, she left.
I have no idea. I presume that Howard Stern himself doesn't advocate for murdering the Virgin Mother, which is a thing, by a bowel obstruction. Like you're the definition of pussy ass. Just get a hatchet or something and kill us outright. You ever see those videos of people dodging in front of a cars go and just kill me? Are those people mentally ill? Not that it's my business, but I'm pretty sure that the guy camping next door is probably homeless. He's probably working because he's gone every morning and comes back right when people would be getting out of work. So people can't afford to pay your rents because the landlords are getting vouchers and just depraved animals are being flooded with money. Not you do any actual work. You things won't allow me to go back to school. 3 semesters to a bachelor's degree in psychology.
When it comes to mental health, every day matters. In as little as 3 days, your employees and their families can be seen by a mental health professional. With Highmark Blue Shield expanded mental health services, they can get the care they need virtually or in person, all while reducing your total cost of care. It's faster care for them with a healthier peace of mind for you.
Let's see again. I'll explain the primate video. Okay. So what you do as primates is you attacked me in my house and you took all my children, whereas you would just slice their throats. You tear their necks open with your teeth. Okay. So then I don't have any dependents and you take my house. And you don't give me any of your benefits because I don't have any dependents. That's why you took my children. You don't have any brain matter left. That's why would you do that? Because you don't have any brain matter left.
Choosing a college is a big step. See what your future could look like at Thomas Jefferson University's open house. Explore your program of interest.
Brian's doing his language thing on Duolingo.
I'm back on the street. I didn't do it yesterday, but I had to.
I should probably take the paperwork out and so I can see it there. We're almost done with it. He's got one more job. We have to do all that stuff. So it's better for people that only had one job and then became disabled and can't do that work anymore. Because you don't have to do it like 4 or 5 times the same thing. So, and then when you're talking about a person with brain injury, you can't remember things. It's, trying to keep it light. All right, let's see. Ugh. Well, we went through that already, where your fellow animals were already doing that shit. And then your dying brain interprets that as that bitch isn't getting that money and he needs a concubine and stuff, when you realize that the people actually do have brain injury. You already did all that trying to kidnap him and shit at Gavin. I can't call him on a phone. You did it all. You did it more than once. It's difficult to tell what money is in the jungle. Yeah, I'm still sort of like back and forth on that and what that actually means. Unless it's to stop you guys from literally physically getting into it every second of your daily life. Like you go to work, right? And you pull in, and then when you get to the front door, you've already got to have a physical altercation with someone to get to work that day. And that's money. Okay. Then when you're at work at various times of the day, your coworkers come up, you have to physically scratch out their eyeballs and stuff and yell at them, and that's how you maintain your money. That's probably what the money is. That's why God has you guys doing that. Whereas before, you actually competed to be better at your work to get the money. Now, some of you are actually at the point where you do connive and belittle and do weird stuff to your coworkers to keep the money. Because the money is your dominance. You have no physical like abilities or mental abilities for that matter anymore. So it becomes just that, like a literal animal. So I don't know at what point you guys realize that you are actually sick. Um, you probably have had brawls in workplaces, like you had at Trader Joe's about spitting on the food and stuff. Like you probably have had that, and we just aren't hearing about it. Where co-workers got into like such a verbal altercation that one of them had to be fired and stuff. Yeah, just or forced into retirement. I'm sure that has happened. So that sort of makes sense. Ask a question, God answers it. Okay, so that's what the money is. It's to control the actual physical attacks and fighting and rapes for that matter. Like you, if you have money, you can afford to get a safe housing for your wife or one of your wives. Say you have three of them. But if you don't, then there's all these males around constantly asking for a cigarette, asking for money, saying that your wife looks like a junkie and she looks like she screws people because that guy was out of his fucking mind, clearly. So in nature, he was trying to make up an excuse to physically attack my husband. He clearly was. Okay, so in nature, he would just come out and make some noises. First, he would just try to rape me. And then if my husband did anything, he'd do a whole bunch of noises and then they'd get in a fight like you see like cats and dogs doing. And if my husband couldn't dominate him away from me, the guy would just rape me. That's why you have a dominant male gorilla that snaps the necks of these things and they don't come near their females. So you have money to protect your females from that behavior. You have money in jails. My listening skills are so good, it's difficult to know if I studied primates in a previous. Okay. Or he just tells me. Just like there's the stick, there's the water, stuff like that. Yeah, a person can't be everywhere at every given time and place in history. So obviously, much of it he just tells me. I clearly was doing something before, and I've been doing something for a long, long time. He said that I spend a lot of time by myself. So I've probably been a nun a bunch of times. Okay, so you spend a whole life where that's what you do. You go to school, um, you have a chance to live in Africa and study primates like firsthand, stuff like that. And then you retain some of that knowledge. It just gets integrated into your brain, so you're not really like all the time making that connection that that's where you learned it. I explained it with the say the word cup. Every time you say, "Oh yeah, where's the cups?" Do you like recall when you were 18 months old and your mother said cup, cup, cup? Is that how you're remembering it? Okay, no. Or how you even learned how to talk. Like, as you're talking, do you have a running thing in your head where the memory is when your parents taught you how to talk? Or you got to speak and spell like ET, or you saw a word on TV, or you're in first grade and you're learning vocabulary? No, you just, it comes to your mind.
So whoever take that same exact lunch and give it less sugar, but still have a nice taste profile,
That's all right. Have as many as you want. That's the rest of the coffee, by the way. I poured it into one container, but we only have one more morning after today, so don't worry about it. We'll just buy more coffee. We usually always have to carry coffee and coffee creamer, which again, coffee cream is terrible for you. Um, and I can't put food in my storage, so I could put like 12 packs of soda or bottles of soda. I don't think that the mice care about that, but I found out even coffee creamer in a cooler, they ate through a styrofoam cooler to get it, and they still couldn't even get into the coffee creamer. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully I didn't leave anything because I've been gone for 6 weeks now. Hopefully I didn't accidentally leave a mint or something because I'm gonna arrive to the same bunch of nonsense when I get back there. Time to buy some poison packs and put them all around the inside of the storage if something like that happens. Yeah, because before there was no, I knew that they had a mouse problem, but there was no mice activity in my storage because I didn't leave anything in there. A mouse wants.
choosing a college is a big step. See what your future could look like at Thomas Jefferson University's open house. Explore your program of interest.
I have my mints, but sometimes like when you're changing purses and stuff, you forget there's something in there. That's what they. That's how that could happen. So hopefully that did not happen.
To learn and grow. Plus, get the details on our full tuition bicentennial scholarship.
I think I forgot I had the coffee creamer in that cooler. I thought the cooler was empty. So anyway, they would find a way into this cooler too. They're mice. Yeah, just they wouldn't be able to eat it, but they do that thing with their body and probably still get into it. And I wouldn't trust that. And what they do is they'll still go in your storage and poop all over it because they know something's in there. Oh, 142. This is going to take forever to process up to YouTube. Oh, yeah, I got the papers here. So make sure we do that. My purse has the pen. Yeah, I guess when I shut this off, I'll just have them answer those last questions, and most of it is I don't know. So, yeah, I did. I asked. He has an appointment on the 10th with the psychologist. I hope and pray it's a psychologist. That's what we asked for because he takes psychiatric meds too. So um, he's got to have a prescriber. Um, I said he's probably they're gonna probably set up a Zoom for their doctor to talk to him because he had a substance problem. He wasn't required to see a therapist ever, and they just kept giving him medication. Yeah, so he literally has like nothing in terms of psychotherapy to give to Social Security. Yeah, but they'll obviously be asking him other types of questions now. Well, yeah, if you start asking a person about their work history and they don't remember like which job was when and stuff, then that should be your answer. But you could ask other things too. Like I did about the campgrounds. He doesn't know the different campgrounds we've stayed at, but he does remember that he liked Harold Parker. Yeah. I think he kind of liked Wampatuck too. So, yeah, like I realize that I have to make more decisions. And, you ask, but you have to be sort of like understanding. It's always going to be, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. it was good that he expressed to me that he's depressed. Okay. And clearly they get tired, their brain gets tired because they have a brain injury, and so their brain has to like shut down and take these naps like that and rest. And it takes a year for your brain to heal from one of these. I went to the class at the hospital at Spalding. So um, a person is not going to be able to work when his work was lifting weight and stuff and crouching down and bending over, all the things they said he can't do. I'm just like every little bit and piece of twigs and stuff. It's kind of just something to do. I like to do it just to keep the fire going. It's funny, I did this like the last night we were at Wampatuck too. So, all right, I'm going to shut this off, babe, so we can finish up that paperwork and get it over with.